and welcome back to another episode of Four Chicks Chatting. Have you missed us? Because we have missed you guys.
Woo!
Woohoo!
Season 3.
Can you
Season
believe it?
3. Honestly, no, I can't.
And they said it wouldn't last.
And there have been times when it almost hasn't.
Can you believe it? Anyway, we're excited to be here. We hope you're just as excited as us. And our topic today actually came from one of our listeners. We did a little survey and we wanted to know what you guys wanted to hear. So this topic was an update from last year's moms. What worked for you guys and what didn't? And how does the whole back to, you can fill in the blank, back to school, back to life, back to work, how does the whole process affect us? So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. Who wants to start?
Well, I'm kind of out of the back to school loop, but I find that I still kind of look at September, and I guess it's clearly because you're kind of getting back from vacation mode and all that. I still look at September as almost the beginning of a year.
Mm-hmm.
In some
So do I.
ways, so it's really a way to kind of get back into things. And again, I mean, for me, things have interestingly enough, things have slowed down with kids and speeded up with kids at the same time, because I had 2 grandbabies born this summer and a third one coming. So it's a shift of roles, but there's still family considerations to be taken in. And I mean, for me, it's really important to recognize that I still have to keep my stuff on some level of a priority. Otherwise, it can just get lost. It's so
Mhm.
easy for it to get lost.
I
Yeah.
think you're forgetting something big, Mary Fran. There's something else coming.
Oh, right, the book.
Oh my God. She's had it with the book already.
Good Lord.
But there you have it. In a nutshell,
Uh-huh.
that's exactly what I'm talking about. So, like, I'm talking about babies and all this other stuff and family things, which are, of course, that's where your heart is. That's where your initial, your pull is to that. But I finished my book this summer, and it's coming out like
Woohoo!
any day now, and I'm here. I am not even thinking about it. So, yes, clearly we have to put ourselves somewhere in the priority list.
And the reviews are in and they are spectacular. It's critically
Yay!
acclaimed.
It's awesome.
It's really, really good, everybody.
Thank
Really
you.
good. And we're not
Yeah.
just saying that.
I paid them to say that. That's no, but thank you. And I, stay tuned for more news, but that kind of sums up what I was just saying.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, I also look at September as the start of my year. This is my new year. I love September. And I think, and I've said it before, that I think because I always loved school growing up, I loved a new school year. And I was the fall, back when we had just fall sports. Now they're year round. But I love all the fall sports. So I always look at it. And as a matter of fact, it is such a new year for me. I talked with a friend of mine about how to keep track of the scholarships for college, because I'm in a horrific financial crunch of, okay, we got to find some other sources here for college, but which everybody else is in that same boat. Like, how do you fund all this? And one of my good friends is a teacher also. We went to school together, we met in college, and she was here one day, and I had talked with her and a friend of mine that has a business for helping you get your kids into college, right? I talked to the two of them about how to keep track of all of the applications, because those of you that have been through this, I mean, it's like you have one for 500, one for 1,000. There's some big ones, and there is no 1 month or anything. They're all over. So I was just at Staples yesterday and got the big. This was my friend's idea. Got the big desk blotter that's a calendar,
Mhm.
and we're tearing off the sheets and dedicating half a wall in my office to all the scholarship dates. I'm actually going to put in my travel dates too, to keep my family a little more organized. And then you make a whole color coded system of when they're due, and you have the essays in a file, so that you can send them out. But just to keep me more organized, because I just felt like even in my little phone and my day planner, I think I'm so visual that I
Yeah.
need it in one spot to look at every morning and say, that one's coming, we have to get that one, and check them off if you got accepted or denied. I mean, it is like,
Denied.
and my friend Michelle said, it is a full-time job. You have to have a whole place in your house dedicated to that. So that's how I'm kicking off my new year with the college. And of course, Michael transferred colleges. Good old blind son of mine had me
That blind son of yours.
memorizing a whole new campus. I will say this for Michael. He did go from private tuition to Penn State, it's not a state college and not state tuition, but it's better than the private tuition that Belmont was. And honestly, he was there a few days. Well, he was there a couple of days, moved in, and then left for Nashville because he released an album and the band launched it in Nashville with a live show.
That is so
It's
cool.
amazing.
That was unbelievable. But I'm saying all this to say this. In terms of where I was last year to where I am this year, for the first time ever with Michael, I was forced at Penn State to watch him prove to me that he had all the tools and resources he needed, and we did enough with mobility instructors to memorize the campus. He had the confidence and he was going to make it work, because that's a huge campus, right? And the thing that triggered it was my car broke down again.
Jeez.
And I had to sit and wait for the campus police to come, and we were running out of time to get him unloaded, and he had to go off with that giant rolling bin of all his stuff, navigate all these little pathways. At the private universities, they come out and do it for you. At Penn State, they're like, here's the football stadium a mile away, and that's where you can park. Get your ass
Drop
out
and
of
roll,
this.
drop
Yeah.
and roll.
So I had to sit there, and I literally held my breath. I had no other choice but to see if he could do it. And he was furious that I didn't let him do it in the first place.
I think it brings up a good point too, though, Kristen. I mean, blind son or not, there are things that blind kids, obviously, you have to consider. But I think this is also a good time for us to kind of unhook a little bit, maybe from our kids, just a little bit, and see what they're capable of, which takes some of the weight off of us too.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, any kid, because this started in kindergarten and first grade, letting him sitting at the door with my coffee and ready to be resuscitated as he walked to the bus by himself.
Yeah.
For Michael, that was huge. But you fast forward all those years, walking to the bus by himself, walking to his friends by himself the next day, all of that, and then he was able to do it on his own at college. So it's been quite a year for us. And in terms of me as a mom, being able to really back up and see we gave them all the tools and resources they needed.
What about you, BSR? What's your deal?
Well, I was sitting here listening to Kristen, and Josh left last year for freshman year. We did this like the same week, I think, didn't we, Kristen?
Uh-huh.
And this year, because he did the summer business intensive at Villanova, we got him an apartment this summer. So that will roll into the school year, and then he'll probably have it the rest of his time there. So when he left for school last Friday, it was, see ya. Like, I was like, this is so weird. Like, everybody else is talking about moving their kids back in, and we had done that in June. I went and scrubbed the apartment, and we got him moved in and everything. But it was like very surreal. I'm like, he's going back to college, and I'm saying, see ya. Now, granted, he's only an hour away, but it was like, shoot, my baby is grown up. So that was kind of an emotional wave, and then now we're getting ready to look at schools for Sam. So then he'll be going off. So I feel like my world is kind of on this emotional roller coaster. I've got one that's basically an adult and gone, except for we're paying the bills. And now I'm going to have another one getting ready to transition out too. And yesterday was Sam's first day of his senior year. And where was I at? I was in Philadelphia doing headshots at a law firm. I'm like, the mom guilt. And he said to John last night when John got home, mind you, John was in Chicago. So this kid is literally sleeping by himself in the house the night before his first day of senior year and getting himself to school. I'm like, not parents.
Welcome to life, kid. That's how it goes.
Like,
and he did it.
He did it.
Well,
and he said
key.
to John last night, he goes, Dad, Mom was all worked up. She wasn't going to be here for my first day of school. Does she really think I care?
Oh,
I guess
Thank you,
not.
son. Thanks, son.
So
Gave him the tools he needs.
I did. I mean, I've tried to raise them to be independent, and I guess I'm successful.
You're doing a good job, Mom.
You did your job when they tell you they don't care if you're there or not.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
I'll go on vacation.
Yeah, right? I'm feeling all this guilt, and it's like, doesn't matter at all. And then, and then the same thing. I'm in Philly all day for 2 straight days, and Gracie has her little, like, meet the teacher thing yesterday, so she goes with my friend and her daughter, who's kept her for 2 days. And I'm like, Does Gracie have a mom?
Sorry. But that's not a bad thing. I mean, those are not bad lessons to teach them. There's a measure of resilience, and again, that's what we're trying to teach all of our kids. It's a matter of resilience. Nothing's constant but change.
Right.
They're always things are always going to change for them. So teaching them how to go with the flow and get on that roller coaster that you were just talking about and just hold on for the ride. That's the best lesson you can teach them. And we have to learn that too in terms of that whole letting go thing. Like, it's great that you had those jobs in Philly. Yay you.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
and that's
but
a whole nother transition, like from a mom perspective. Like you're saying, Kristen, you've traveled so much this year with your book launch. You know, Kath, you're busy juggling your dad here locally and then the kids and the beach and all that stuff. And it's like, you know, I've worked so hard to get my business to where it is now that I'm working full time plus, and I haven't done that in years. So it's, you know, it's that transition too of, oh shoot, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Like, am I still focusing enough on Gracie and raising her the way I did the boys? And yeah, it's a constant, well, I said it before, emotional roller coaster in terms of the mom guilt, and then, but yet wanting that desire for success, improving myself too as a business owner and everything.
You know, it was cool I got to do in all my traveling this summer. I felt such mom guilt for all the traveling that I took the kids. I used all the points I had in airline miles and took them with me to one of the biggest conferences on the West Coast that I had to speak at. And they've everybody finally got to meet. The kids finally got to meet all of my rare disease colleagues I talk about all the time, and they finally got to meet the boys that I'm always giving the speeches about. I
That's
took
so
Mitch
cool.
during the day
It's
to
huge.
the speeches, and Michael at night to the networking events. And it was just, and in between, and Carissa doesn't want to talk to anybody, so she wanted no parts of any of it.
She's
So
at the pool.
she was at the pool. She was back at the hotel with whatever one of her brothers was there. They explored each of the different pools. Like, she knew the whole place inside and out from guiding them, taking turns with it. And it was that's how we kicked off our summer. And
It's great.
it was cool. And I'll say one more tip I wanted to give before I forget. You know how we talk about with this whole mom guilt and you know, Gracie's with somebody else for 2 days, and that's poor Carissa. She's always doing that too. You know how we talk about we just talked about our schedule before we came on air about batching a bunch of episodes at once. And you know, everybody says productivity batch. Well, here's your tip as a mom. Batch the favors, like the rides. When I am in town, I am the driver nonstop. And then I say to Krista, she's like, why are you going everywhere in 2 days with all of this? And I said, because when I'm not here, everybody else can pick up and do it. And that's how we're just going to batch. We're going to batch momhood.
Somebody
That's a great,
somebody
that's a great
tweet that.
tip. Yeah, that's a great
There's
tip.
always a somebody that needs a gift certificate for something. Like, that's my thing too. I'm like, oh, you can take them to dinner at Hotspot. Here's a gift certificate. You know, it's like,
That's
Yeah,
a great
there you go.
idea if they
Yeah,
have them for
that is
dinner
a
and you've
great
got the
idea.
gift card. Actually, I'm going to add that to my little batching of momhood.
yeah,
Another
it's just,
tweetable.
you know, little things to make it easier when you ask a favor.
Yeah. So, Kath, what about you? What did you
And
find?
we're out of time. Thanks for joining in today. And you can catch up on Kath online. Follow her on
Now
Instagram.
now see, here's the thing though, and I think this needs to be noted too. You have been super active on social media this summer.
Yeah, I'm killing it.
I have
killing it.
done nothing. But
Yeah.
I've done nothing. So, you know, it's also about paying attention to whatever rhythm you happen to be in at the moment. Like, you were able to do that and take advantage of that. I mean, people probably thought I was dead because there was nothing, like crickets for me all
Mary
summer.
Fran.
Who's she?
Mary
You know
Fran
what?
Bunton.
I knew
Yeah.
you were alive. I got your text.
Yeah, well, you know, I have to keep on top of you. You need a trainer. You need a manager. My favorite story that you told me this summer was the funniest story. That Mitchell came downstairs one day and said to Carissa, "Where's Mom?" Like, figuring she was at the grocery store. Carissa said she's in Toronto. I mean, just that, like, Kath, you were able to, and you made use of that time that you had to stay on social media and to be out there. I did none of that. So you really have to pay attention to what your opportunities are in the moment, because that can change on a dime.
Mm.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. I mean, I don't know if we mentioned this before. Since we're talking about batching, a program called Planoly. Have we
No,
mentioned that
yeah,
before?
I don't know that we did. We all talked about it, but I don't know that we mentioned it on air. Yes, you should talk about that.
It's Planoly, Planoly, and I use it just for Instagram. It's really just for Instagram. But if you see a picture or you take a picture, you can upload it right to Planoly, and it'll hold it for you in your grid so that you can go back and add your caption and your hashtags later. And
Hmm.
it's free, and you can really upload 30 pictures at a time if you want.
Oh, wow.
And so I was doing a lot of that where I was just take maybe an hour and put some pictures up, put some captions. You're able to schedule them right there. You can also
Wow.
schedule them to Facebook, and then they'll just go out. And you can see what you did, and then that scheduled falls back into unscheduled, and so you can kind of keep track of all the pictures. Anyway, it was my favorite thing. So I spent a lot of time with that this summer. So I batched it, and then I was able to just go.
And that's huge. I mean, there's, we talk about those tools all the time, and those social media tools are, for somebody like, well, for all of us, they're essential. You find those times when you can do a bunch, even if you do five things and you just put them in there and upload it, then you don't have to think about it for a while, and you're on to the next thing.
Well, there's your week.
Right.
That's really all you need, unless you want to do 7 days. But typically, if you could get 5 out there, you're above average for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But in terms of school, Robin and I are in the same boat now, where we both have seniors. First of all, we both survived junior year.
Oh, great. I'm headed into that now.
I really should have had T-shirts made. Everybody said it was the worst year, and I was like, "Oh God, it couldn't possibly be." And it was a train wreck in every way. And I gained weight. I'm getting more gray. I upped my dosage. Everything's it's all coming together. So now we're entering senior year, and now I'm like, this is the last this. This is the last that.
Yeah. 9 months of that.
Yeah, I take these stuff in stride, right? And then the camera.
Yeah, right.
The camera focuses to me holding on to Livy's leg.
Can we just put pause on that? You take these things in stride. Yeah, it's the holding on to the leg thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like this child cannot go. I'm like, today's the last day of summer for you and me. So we stayed up last night till 12:15 watching A Star Is Born.
Oh, I still haven't seen that.
I thought we were the only ones on the planet who
I
hadn't
haven't seen it either.
I'm always the last to see a movie. Don't ever worry about it.
Oh, anyway.
Well, I'm the last to remember a movie line. So
you are the last to remember a movie line. I can attest to that.
I am going into this year with, yes, will she end up in the right school that she's supposed to? Will the SAT, the last test, will we go up in points, for the love of God? So I'm kind of like the whole getting her to where she needs to be at the same time she's leaving me. So this is good. I'll just put it out there, everybody. This is going to be a struggle for me.
But you will survive. You will survive. We'll catch you. Yeah. And I'm back to
4 chicks and an Eeyore. Three chicks in Eeyore.
Well, keep
that's what I'm
going.
gonna.
You can't focus on all that stuff.
Yeah. And I'm back to thinking, do I have newborn diapers? Do I have size 5 diapers? Do I have? That's where I am. That's where my head is.
Man,
just have a kitchen towel.
Yeah. But I remember, Kath, this is very much to your point. My girls were dancers, both of them. And the last recital that my Megan, who's my younger of the 2 girls, last one that she had at her dance studio, I sobbed. It was ridiculous. I mean, I was like backstage sobbing, and people were looking at me like, this woman's literally lost it, which was only one of the many times I have. But I just cried and cried and cried, because those things are so, like, I don't know, they become a part of you. And then all of a sudden the kid's going, yay, I'm going off to college. And you're going, oh, and it's hard. It's not an easy transition, but you get through it. It's more joy is along the way. You just have to unclench your little claws from the other thing.
And along those lines, Mary Fran, with each transition of your children, you lose a segment of who you are in your identity because the people at the dance studio or the people on the lacrosse team or the people on the football team, like they become your family. And when they graduate and you're not seeing those people on a weekly basis or, here and there at school events and things, like you lose touch. So it really is a transition of your entire identity when they go off and graduate and move to the next phase of their life.
Which, bringing this full circle, it emphasizes the fact that you still have to make yourself some kind of a priority because the kids are going to move on. That's what you trained them to do. That's what they're supposed to do. So at some point you have to make sure that your business, your social life with your friends, your whatever, that you maintain those things because like Robin, like you said, Sam was like, does mom really think I care? At some point, it's not that they don't love you anymore, but they don't need you to be there every single minute. So make sure that you have those other things in your life. Focus on your business, focus on your whatever brings you some kind of joy. That's so important so that you don't suddenly wake up one day and go, oh my God, now what?
Yeah.
Want to hear something super cool that happened yesterday? So all
Yep.
of our
You can bring it home. You can bring it home and send us off. Yep.
You know how all of our kids, we always say every kid is different, and you have to parent them differently. And I'm sure that with Robin, with your kids now looking at colleges, it's probably a totally different thing than with your first one and all that. So my Michael was always we're very into music, both of us, and we were always going to our favorite concerts together. And that was his thing, was music. And then I got to watch him do that. Last weekend, he was the one on stage that people were coming to see, right? Yesterday, Mitch and I, Mitchell is just so different from Michael. We got to go to, oh my God, what is his name? Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank.
Yeah.
We got to go see him, right? Now, of course, it was one of those things where you had to have all these other people beforehand, and Mitchell sat patiently waiting for his favorite shark. And in the meantime, there was a real estate presentation. There was a thing about investing in the stock market. And I'm thinking, oh my God, shoot me. This is so not my thing. Mitchell had his little Braille note and he was taking notes.
Oh, wow.
And for him, it was like his rock stars were up there on his stage. I didn't even realize how into investing and stocks and all that he is so curious about and wants to know about. And I thought, oh my God. And then last night, Carissa and I are at the women's national team soccer game at the Link here in Philly. And there she is watching, and she's an athlete, and that's what she's all about. And she's watching her rock stars and thinking about where she wants to go. I mean, it was the serendipitous 7 days of my life where watching how they're all so unique and being able to, it took me a while. And this past year, because I had to build this business and because I had to do all the stuff I had to do, I wasn't there to hold their hands and push them through my dreams for them, and got to just sit back and see where they were going and look at how they all have evolved to this spot where they all have their unique interests, and then we were able to explore them in the past 7 days. It was pretty cool. It really is a testament to just let the kids figure out what they love as opposed to what you love.
Yeah.
Right beside them, pushing them to where they need to go based on what they want to do. And then like Robin and I got to watch our kids soar in college last year. And then for your son to even be able to do this summer program, not even as a sophomore yet. It's
pretty cool.
It's really good stuff.
Yeah. I think I'll start off with brilliance bombs then. So let them build their resilience so you can build yours.
Oh,
because that's what it
Top
comes
that.
down to, right?
I don't think I can.
Bam! We're back.
Mic drop,
baby. Boom.
Confetti.
Fireworks.
Okay, next brilliance bomb.
Oh,
That's
I'm
all
barely
I've got.
holding on. Yeah.
You took it home right there, Mary Fran.
Yes.
Took it home.
I don't think we could top that. But just so you know, everybody out there, we're here for you. We feel your pain. We're all going through the same thing. I can only hope to be sitting here this time next year and saying what a great year we had, and that I wasn't arrested for stalking my daughter or anything else.
Hashtag life goals.
I'm not one to never say never. So stay tuned.
Not with you.
No. So Thanks again for tuning in. You can follow us on that social thing, or actually no one's on social except me. So follow me at Kathy Marcino, because I'm everywhere. And I'm dropping brilliance bombs like crazy. So if you're
I'm just
experiencing
going to share
any
your stuff.
conflict in the workplace or communicating more effectively, I am definitely your gal, even though I didn't get a chance to do much of that today. But next time.
This episode brought to you by Kathy Marcino.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is. Free M&Ms, M&Ms all around. So thanks, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.